Cryptocurrencies are keeping investors on their toes with major shifts in Bitcoin and Ethereum over the last few weeks. Last month, in a flash crash on GDAX, the digital currency exchange run by Coinbase, Ethereum's value plunged from $317 to nearly zero. I caught up with blockchain co-founder and CEO Peter Smith at the Fortune Brainstorm Tech Conference in Aspen, Colorado, and started by asking about that crash and how and when cryptocurrencies will stabilize. Take a listen.
In the case of the Ethereum flash crash, this is actually because Coinbase exchange, GDAX, had an improperly implemented matching algorithm. So it had nothing to do with Ethereum, it had to do with poor software quality on GDAX.
Right, but other exchanges have had outages, performance issues. It's not limited to that one situation.
We've seen a few exchanges that have gone down. Our platform hasn't gone down. We've had 999 uptime over the last year. But I think in general, what will happen is we see more and more scaling and more established players come into the system, is that it'll transfer a lot of market pressure onto people to either perform at a high level or, essentially get left behind.
How liquid is the cryptocurrency market?
The cryptocurrency market is incredibly liquid. So most of the trading actually occurs on over-the-counter markets, actually, and those markets are very deep. And then I think on the exchange side, it's pretty deep now as well, too.
Fred Wilson was on the show saying that he thinks that the market cap of Ethereum will surpass the market cap of Bitcoin in short order. What do you think?
I think that's, well, it depends on what your definition of short is, I guess.
I believe he said by the end of the year.
I think that's highly unlikely.
Why?
So first of all, Ethereum's had a big pullback. And so we saw that Ethereum really couldn't hold that level. It had gone to, pretty big position, and now it's pulled way back. Ethereum's down 30–40% in the last 2 weeks. I think that, Ethereum could well in the long term surpass Bitcoin's market cap.
Why?
Well, I think that it's a competitive market, and you're seeing Ethereum try a lot of really interesting things. A lot of them are very risky. So I see a lot of scenarios where Ethereum could go to zero. But when you're taking a lot of risk, there's also a lot of upside on that risk. And so I think that Bitcoin's pretty stable, is a pretty safe place in the digital currency ecosystem, whereas Ethereum's kind of a higher upside bet.
We've seen a lot of initial coin offerings recently. Do we need so many cryptocurrencies?
I think that, ICOs and tokens is going to be a huge market someday. But the reality of it, the market today is it's mostly scams. And I think there's quite a lot of securities laws that are being violated by the ICO phenomena right now.
In which cases?
I think I'll leave that for the professionals. But I know on a consumer protection front, and from a, what is our industry doing for consumers, I think it's something to keep a close eye on.
Any tokens or projects that you're excited about?
I'm pretty excited about Ethereum. I'm really excited by what some of the folks are doing at some of the academic research institutions around layer 2 scaling. So I think the folks at Imperial College in London are doing great work. Cornell is doing great work. But in terms of the tokens themselves or the ICOs, I'm very careful not to take a personal view on those.
What is the single biggest obstacle to cryptocurrencies hitting the masses?
I think a lot of it comes down to the strength of the ecosystem. When we see a lot of demand and we have sites go down, that just makes everybody look less than professional. And so I think, one of the key things that the industry needs to do is invest ahead of time so that when we go through these big growth periods, we don't have our infrastructure come crashing down on us.
Okay, so you think it's possible to build a sustainable network infrastructure?
For sure. We have millions of users today, millions of active users today.
So when does it hit the mainstream?
I think it probably already has. There's still a long way to go towards making it more useful. How do we make digital currencies fundamentally useful and useful products? I think that's going to be something that takes 5 to 10 years to figure out. And I think that's
so. I can use Bitcoin and pay at the grocery store, or what do you mean?
In some countries you can. In Japan, I think most grocery stores do accept Bitcoin, which is kind of interesting. It's a recent development. But I think coming back to Fred Wilson, he's probably one of the smarter people in this space, and he sort of routinely says it's like, people are expecting something to happen in a year, and it's probably more like 10 years. And I think I sympathize with that view. It's going to take a lot longer than people think.